you're ready. Mike. Hey, good morning. X-Runner, Deborah, good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. Today, do you like this? Do you enjoy, is this what gamers want? That was the question posed to the chat, and it set off a bit of an argument among those on the right. By the way, let me know if my mic, I did a lot of moving around with settings in the mic, so let me know if it's all right. Let me know if it's sounding good. If there's something wrong, I'd like to know about it ahead of time. So, and this, we got a little dance here. This is from First Descendant. I think this character is kind of based around music. It looks like there's some sort of DDR type of, like a rhythm game you have to play while doing this. That apparently gives buffs or does damage. Who knows? The character's, like kind of like a sound. Looks like a sound sort of support character. But I don't play First Descendant, so I actually don't know anything about it. So this Pirate Nation here asked, is this what gamers want? And then immediately you have, oh my gosh. You have Rosary Warrior, John F. Trent. No. He's the editor of the sort of Fandom Pulse, which is something on Substack that covers anti-woke. The anti-woke crowd was split on this. Here's Dread Robots. Let's read what he says here. Any person with a modicum of decency would say no. This is not where the future of gaming should be headed. Oh, should. Already we're getting into interesting word choices. The constant promotion of half-naked women as the greener side of gaming is getting ridiculous. And I'm beginning to think that these people who say they want to save, in quotation marks, gaming, don't actually want to save it. So many claim to care about morals and the future generations, and not giving an inch of progress to devs who push woke ideology or whatever else. But then they turn around and tell men and women to support titles that throw this stuff in your face. Most of what I've seen for months from these accounts are butt cheeks and cleavage. Seriously, how is this making gaming better? All we're doing is pushing normies in the same direction, but on a parallel track. People may argue, we just want to push back on the ugly woman agenda, just trying to make a point to the lefty weirdos. Okay, ellipses. So where do we draw the line then? Because there doesn't appear to be one. This is why I say we need real adults with real ambitions / aspirations and a mature outlook on the future to lead the charge in this industry. People who have their priorities straight and their arousal in check. Wow. Their arousal in check. But Melanie Mack also had to, this obviously not for kind of controversial, is like some likes, about 4.6k likes and a lot of replies, 2.7k replies. Melanie Mack decided, well, we have Jonathan Trent here. He's on the side of no, we don't like her. So let's talk with Melanie Mack here. I agree with this take. I've been fighting with y'all. I hate the word y'all. If you're not Southern, and you're using this unironically, I don't know what to tell you. Against the woke mob turning female characters into troons. I like characters to look attractive, but I don't want to be lumped in with those pushing for practically softcore porn in character design. That's degenerate. Curvy female characters like classic Lara Croft? Great. But curvy characters almost completely naked doing stripper dances? No thanks. Muscular male characters? Awesome. But these mods with Leon Kennedy and a jockstrap? Degenerate. No thanks. We can want characters to look good without advocating for porn. Whoa, I didn't know First Ascendant was porn. And of course, she also, going into this, not everyone in the anti-woke gaming crowd wants porn games. Many of us are anti-porn. Wanting characters and art to look good doesn't mean we're allied with, oh no, coomers and perverts. Y'all can be mad, but I'm just fine not being on your team. We were never on the same team, Melanie. We were never on the same team. So this is what. So let's get into this, because this is why times like this, I'm glad I don't kind of shy away from the word woke when I'm talking about these kind of issues, because this kind of becomes a container word for anything I think is bad. So here's the thing. Is this what gamers want? Absolutely. Gamers want sexy women. But this is the issue. This is the issue we get into here with like guys like Dread Roberts and some of like the really traditional conservatives, trad cath type of guys, is they think this is wrong, or they want their morals pushed through games, which, but to be fair, I would like traditional morality pushed through things as well, but not in the sense that kind of like bravery, heroism, men being men, fighting heroic, rescuing women, stuff, that isn't necessarily, it's good for overall morality, but it isn't like in your face, like, whoa, like we need to have, X amount of a woman covered up. Not this like autistic type of, like just traditional, like, timeless sort of values for men and women. When you get into this, you're just essentially, he's just doing the same thing. I mean, the reason why we talk about, we just want to push back on the ugly women agenda. Why is there a push to make women ugly by mainstream media? And the reason is simply because there's this idea that if you have sexualized women or sexualized depictions of women in video games, that is going to lead to real world harm of women. It's encouraging it. And ironically enough, guys like Dread Roberts or Melanie Mack or these other guys believe the exact same thing. They believe sexualized depictions of women in video games will lead to real world harm. They might, vary in, how that real world harm shows up, whether it's, degeneracy of society. Meanwhile, the leftists believe, it just a guy sees a sexualized depiction of a woman in video games, like, whoa, I should harass and sexualize every woman I meet. Both, again, are both believe the sort of male sex drive is something that's evil and needs to be discouraged in a social sense, through the levers of social morality, essentially. So the reason why guys like Pirate Nation, I don't know if he's necessarily doing it, but the general idea is that male desire is okay. Like, men like this. Men like this type of thing. It's we like skinny women. She's having fun. She's obviously very feminine body. Men like this. They enjoy this. They're attracted to it. This is a beautiful woman, beautiful blonde hair, and a skimpy outfit. Men like this, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with this. And since video games are, the idea is that we want to return to a point where video games are being made for men again, where our fantasies aren't treated as evil. Like, oh, wow, this is a beautiful woman. Yeah, I'd like this in my game. In my fantasy game. It's not reality. So, yeah, I want, woman having fun, doing a little dance, and a little, half winter outfit. Got a, winter hat, like some sort of sexy Russian cheerleader here. That's great. That video games should be the sort of playground of male fantasy because men are who keep this industry alive. They're made for men. We want video games to be made for the men. And we don't want to be lectured by video games that treat our desires as evil. So when people this isn't it goes on and talks about the morals. Again, this is a work of fiction. It's art. The idea that every game has to sort of push some sort of morality is stupid. One of the reasons video games are cool is because you get to explore morality. Like, you get to kill people, do things outside of the social norms that are fun. And it's fun, it's fun to go on a rampage in GTA. Violence is another thing that's very much a male desire that you can't do in real life. Every part of society discourages you from violence, but in video games, hey, really enjoy. You can really get that bloodlust going and enjoy it. These, again, are fantasies. They don't encourage actual real-life violence, and everybody knows that. And even guys like this would say, it's ridiculous that violent video games cause shootings, yet again, you can see why Anita Sarkeesian was able to get such an easy foothold. Because guys like this agree with Anita Sarkeesian that sexualized depictions are bad, that they do lead to bad outcomes. They just accept it wholesale, even though there's no real evidence to suggest that. No actual scientific evidence to suggest this leads to anything. But they're totally okay with it because, and you know, when you look at Melanie Mac things, you know, how do you decide what is okay? So he says Laura Croft's okay, and someone points out Laura's back and has her in a swimsuit, and then I've muted Melanie Mac, which is come on my timeline. They use some secondary marketing images. She's okay with her in a bikini, but she's not okay with this. And this is what happens when you let, you know, church moms decide what's acceptable and what isn't. This is one of the issues I have with a lot of these traditional conservatives, tradcath types. Because men don't care. Men like this stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not really going to fight against this type of stuff unless they want to get the approval of women. And that's what it comes down to. It's whatever woman can get most offended, can cause most of a stir. She's the one that sets the standard here, like what is acceptable and what isn't. So in the end, you just end up in the longhouse. Either way, you just end up in the longhouse, and that's not the direction I want video games to go in. I want video games that promote men, that are made for men, that respect men. We don't need women to decide what is or isn't okay in our video games. They aren't the primary players of video games. They aren't the primary driver of video games. They don't make video games. I mean, they do to some extent, but nowhere near the same amount of men. Why are we letting them decide what is and isn't? And this whole idea of like, oh, we need adults to push, you know, we need real adults with ambition, aspiration, and mature outlook on the future to lead the charge. And lead what? We don't. Here's the issue. One of the big issues with video games right now is we have people that are trying to push their morality. We have liberal activists in video games trying to push their morality. The reason these narratives are so shit is because they have to check. They have to hire consultants and check with people. You know, whatever, like 20 different groups aren't going to be offended by, you know, a joke or their inclusion of this. We have, I didn't include it today, but, you know, Magic the Gathering, whose card games, just decided to totally rename one of their planes Kaladesh because one of their consultants said, you know, Kala kind of means black and could be like a black slur in a different languages. So they're just completely removing that plane. They're going to rename it to something else. Just like that. Just throw away your history because, someone may be offended by it. And this is what we don't need in the industry. We need people that are free to express themselves, to experiment. Let the market decide what is and is acceptable. Like if it's that offensive, then people just won't buy it. It'll be a failure. But no, these guys cannot have that happen. They're too worried that, you know, the second they want to get control of the culture, again, we'll go to, oh, this is too much. We need to get rid of this character. This is too violent. You know, violence against women. We can't have that in our video game. That's going to encourage young boys to do bad things. They believe in the same exact thing. It's just an assault on men and masculinity, and it's unfortunate to see that because I mean, in some cases we obviously agree, but not really. In a lot of ways, we don't. I want more of this in my game. It doesn't necessarily have to be in my game, but I certainly don't mind it. I'd rather games be marketed to men, and you know, fully accepting of the fact that, hey, you like this, guys? Like, yes, we do. I don't need Melanie Mac. I also love like this phrasing. Not everyone in the anti-woke gaming crowd. Why are people identifying themselves as anti-woke? I guess that's the thing, but it's such a mistake, I believe. And I'll cover another thing that I think is a mistake later on, but why be anti-woke? Why not be pro something, like pro awesome video games? But that's the thing, that's their identity. They're just anti-woke. They're not like pro male. They don't have like a pro gaming outlook as far as like what they want. They just know what they don't want. They're fighting against what they don't want. It's just such a weird phrasing, and I think one of the issues with maybe one of the issues I have with a lot of this scene, where people like woke DEI, yada yada. I mean, yeah, it's an issue, but like, what do you want from your video game? Because I want stuff like this, similar, or just fun. I just want stuff to be fun and a good time. Look, this girl's having fun. I enjoy looking at her. What's the issue? This isn't degeneracy. And like some people pointed out, like, we haven't won anything. We haven't won anything yet. Culture is very much in the control of leftists. Why are you taking an issue that's unpopular and then trying to push this? They're already like creating fractures in the movement, but overall, I don't care. I kind of don't care if there is fractures, because I mean, the reason DEI is failing isn't because Melody Mack's pushing up against it. It's because the stuff they're making is shit. That's why it's failing. Because men don't like ugly women. They just don't. And we'll talk about Intergalactic a little bit later, but it's not because JT Smash is making videos. It's great. I'm glad people are making money, like pointing out the ridiculousness of it, and hopefully that'll encourage other people to kind of like speak out against it and be more vocal on it. But overall, the reason woke games will fail is because woke games are ultimately garbage. It's their own lack of merit. Here, let me take a drink and we'll move on. Mommy, why did that player quit saying that? Yep. Mine's a cute. Oh, yeah. The Russian girls in Azure Lane. They're very nice. All right. So this was another thing from another. We're punching right a little bit early today, because this was just. I saw this and this was absolutely moronic. Why are these color schemes being pushed so hard in Western gaming currently? They're everywhere now. And look at this color scheme. And this color scheme. Oh, it's crazy. And then they include this color scheme, which isn't related to the first two at all. And other than it has like some purple. And I mean, that's the level of orange isn't the same as that other level of orange. It's more yellow. And then this color scheme is completely unrelated to any of them, even remotely, but I don't think he cares. So, God, they're everywhere. So you can kind of see what he's implying, but the replies are just so mind-numbingly stupid. You noticed it too. There's been a lot of purple. I think it has something to do with their pride flag. Trans people use a lot of purple. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's been noticing this. It's been a lot in the biggest titles, and it's currently becoming a pattern. It's called bisexual lighting. Look it up. It's a thing. Holy shit, it is. I never heard of it, but you're 100% right. Wow, bisexual lighting has a Wikipedia article. It's a thing. Look, it's when you use stuff like this color tone. Oh my god. It is. This is some of the stuff. This was also like one of the dumbest replies. 2 reasons, starting with the most obvious one, followed by one that I think is what's really going on. He's figured out the mystery. We've got the top minds on this right now. 1, DEI, feminism and trans activism. Purple is the color of feminists. A total lack of creativity going on with what's safe and modern. Agree. I'd add to number 1 with the activism is psychology and marketing. These colors are being chosen for a reason. It's like a blatant subtlety, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm glad people like this got like way too many likes, but people are cooking this guy like, hey, you have purple in your other profile. Purple. Like vaporwave schemes are check notes. Forced DEI activism. That's news to me. Hey, good morning, Nuke. And this is so moronic. And look, this guy is supposed to be Christian, anti-communist, heavy metal. He's got a freaking crusader thing as his profile picture. Translating. No way I'm destroying my search algorithm by yet. John, you don't want Amazon suggesting things for you, huh? You're worried what you're gonna get in your Amazon for you results or something like that. But so this guy's supposed to be a Christian, and he immediately buys this idea that purple is the color of feminists. I mean, purple is also the color that the Romans wrapped Jesus in when they beat him. It's using the Catholic Church as for Lent as a sign of repentance and of Jesus' suffering. It's also, in Rome, it was the color of royalty, which is why they clothed him in purple when they beat him to mock him as the king of the Jews. It's amazing that people will just give this up, their entire Western culture, 2,000 years of Western culture, and say purple is a color of feminists. This is how dumb they're like lolcow anti-woke morons, really. They're complete idiots. I mean, one, this is vaporwave or synthwave, or even if you want to like retrowave, there's a ton of different names for this aesthetic. It's also the color of the sunset. But these idiots are willing, like, oh yeah, wow, look at this pattern. This has got to be subtle woke messaging. Why would you give up something that's beautiful? Why would you give up your culture and just assume that just give this to them? Why give this up to them? Why give up beauty to them? That's such a stupid misplay that, unfortunately, these small minds immediately give up. Just give up ground. This is 100% operating in someone else's frame right here. When you're able to say, like, oh, wow, look, GTA 6 uses, it's got to be bad. We need to avoid this. They're just so caught up in this, they have to find something new to be mad against. Like, look, Yasuke, I mean, this was supposedly a proposed skin for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yes, it looks super gay on Yasuke, but the colors themselves are beautiful. They're lovely. It's lovely colors. Why would you give that up? Why would you give it up? It's moronic. But I just had to rant a little bit on this, because when I see it as like on a tactical level, like why, and this sort of like gives some idea of these pictures with the neon lights and stuff. It's kind of like old, 80s retro stuff. Very cool. It's cool stuff. Why give that to leftists that you hate? Why give them beautiful things? Never concede ground. Purple, pink, the rainbow. Honestly, the best thing that happened to like the pride stuff is when they added that ugly chevron with the brown and the black for Black Lives Matter, because that looks so hideous. It looks so ugly. The rainbow is beautiful. The rainbow flag is a good-looking flag, but then they added that ugly-ass brown and black to it. Fantastic. I'm so glad they made their stuff look ugly, and that's really why I think a lot of the vibe is changing, because now they've embraced ugliness, and it's a huge misstep on their part. And really what the right needs to be doing is swooping that up, swooping beauty up. Take back the rainbow flag, take back purple, pink, all this stuff. It doesn't belong to them. Their culture, this culture and aesthetics don't belong to them at all. But someone needs to inform these these guys of this. Like, oh wow, retro greatness and indie creativity with modern mediocrity. Look, there's nothing but mediocrity in the way this guy thinks, unfortunately. So now we're done punching right. Now let's look at let's make fun of some video games right now. So this was one of the big announcements from Naughty Dog on at the Video Game Awards. So let's take a look at what Naughty Dog is cooking up for us. All right, we got some cool music, weird lettering. The suffering of generations must be endured to achieve our divine end. It's an ancient scripture from 1986. Remember the time 4chan tried to co-opt the rainbow flag for a certain Central European political party in the 30s and 40s? Got some outer space. We got some outer space stuff going. Cool spaceship. One thing I comment, obviously you notice immediately the Porsche symbol on the spaceship. And, you know, the cyberpunk kind of stuff, the product placement, you know, the sort of like out of control consumerism, like everything's a commodity. I mean, that's a real thing that becomes more and more you know, like a prediction, an actual like real prediction, is as we lose, you know, sight of like our culture as a multiculturalism, you know, everything secularism becomes a thing. Really, the thing that unites culture just becomes the brands, the consumable products. Like, this is something that all of us know. Like, we all recognize Porsche, we all recognize Nike. You know, even the Mexican that doesn't speak English that, you know, came here knows what a Nike shoe is. He may not know what Moby Dick or the Bible is. Maybe he does, but we can all recognize that this is a Porsche, and you know what its social, you know what it is as a symbol of social status. But the fact is that I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later when we get to it. We got like little like retro '80s cartoon. Definitely has like an '80s throwback feel. And oh, here's our protagonist shaving their head. There she is. It's apparently a woman. You never would have expected Naughty Dog to have a protagonist as an androgynous, non-white woman, would you? They're really pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable in these video games. She's got tattoos too. Incoming call. Guy and a girl, you know, shooting it out. Some actual entertainment. Just gotta look at how disheveled her stuff is. She doesn't know where anything is. Oh, and then shows apparently she's after somebody. Some sort of deep mystery. Is that her in that picture? With that guy? Or maybe her mother? She's searching for people. Clues and leads to find this guy. Is it a personal grudge, you think?
Jordan.
No, now we got another woman. And the person's name is Jordan.
Tell me something good.
Tell me something good.
You're right, it checks out. He's hiding out around the Superior Moon.
He's hiding on Superior.
How is that excellent? He's next to fucking Superior. No one has left that planet in over 600 years. Anyone who even flies close to it is never heard from again.
Superstitions?
No. Superstitions are the crazy rumors about what happened on that planet. These
Uh-oh. No one's left the moon, but she's not worried. And look here. We've got one thing Neil Druckmann said was his inspirations. Two of his inspirations were Akira and Cowboy Bebop. And right here you have the red Akira jacket. This sort of knight chess piece symbol kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you ever watched Have Gun Will Travel, but that's also a mercenary as a symbol.
You worry too much.
Wow.
You know what I worry just
Appropriate for a bounty hunter.
I say we wait for him to leave, or how about we find a new lead? He's not worth it.
Ah, very endearing. She doesn't care. She's gonna do it anyway.
I don't need another hunter swooping in.
Who is swooping? No one is crazy enough to go there.
He clearly is.
He is clearly desperate.
And so am I, so claim him, or I will find another agent.
Wow, she doesn't take any crap.
Okay, alright, you know what? There, you're the boss.
After this Colin Graves.
Thank you.
Listen, kid. I'll see you on the other side.
Touching emotional moment. She thinks she's not coming back, clearly. Oh, looking at it. Right now she's ready. Again, you can more product placement. Sony, which, I mean, it's a Sony game, so yeah, you could kind of forgive it a little bit of fan service. But, whoa, CDs? Guys, you remember CDs? Guys, you remember retro music? Adidas. Whoa, were those Adidas sneakers? Whoa. The product placement, again, it's like, it is cyberpunk, but usually when they have it like it's a urban dystopia where like there's just stuff everywhere, like it is the culture essentially, is products and consumables. But I don't know if it works when you're completely on your own. It just kind of seems gratuitous. Whoa. Naughty Dog used to make fun games. And now we look at this. Giant robot. Whoa, is that sword? It's like an equalizer. It's lasers, but it's kind of like an equalizer with sound. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Intergalactic. The Heretic Prophet. Whoa. Trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy? Yes, they're 100% trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy. And this is the issue I have with it, is it takes like a trope of, you know, sort of like the space bounty hunter, like, you know, Cowboy Bebop or Outlaw Star, or even like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. And then let's just stick an androgynous woman in the place and call it a day. There's nothing about this woman that kind of like endears you to her as a man. I do have a, yes, thanks, Duke. I do like being sarcastic. I mean, it's just, this is, when you play, it's the thing, like, at least in my opinion, when you play as a man, either like want to be the person, or, you know, when it's a woman, you're attracted to the woman, or in the case like when it's like a little girl, there's like a protective instinct to it. You know, as a man, you want to protect women. It's a very kind of like base emotional instinct, and it's pretty easy to play off. Like when the woman's either attractive or cute, but when, again, like this is clearly designed not to be attractive to men, like kind of like lesbian-ish type of thing. It's you don't have that same connection. So, like, what is it that makes you want to root for this girl to succeed? Like, is it her personality? Is she funny? You know, does she have like a tragic backstory?
Something good.
And then all you get is the sort of like cockiness, like, ooh, hey, tell me something good, or, you know, further down, like, oh, you know, sure, nobody's off the planet, but I've got a devil-may-care attitude.
No.
I can do it. Like, confident. It's like, I forget who, compared to Eris Gainsborough, or like, yeah, exactly. You know, Ellen Ripley. There's like some sex appeal. I mean, Eris is very cute and feminine. You immediately want to protect her. But no, she's cocky. Which, again, I forget who said that, like, confidence isn't an attractive trait in women. That was going on Twitter not that long ago, and it's 100% true. Like, we don't confidence isn't necessarily an attractive quality in women. Usually, it's off-putting most of the time.
You worry too much.
You know what I worry just right about?
Hey, good morning, King Trust Issue. Good morning, Silver Bishop. And like she's bringing up, hey, this isn't safe. It's too risky. And she just sort of slips on her Slurpee. Like, shh, I don't care. I don't care that you're showing concern for me. I'm gonna do it anyway. This woman's also like not very attractive. She's supposed to be like Nick Fury or something.
Can you please claim him?
But I mean, yeah. Besides the sexual attraction aspect of it, or like lack of sex appeal, there has to be something to make this character appealing, that you want to play with them, or care about them, or want them to succeed. It just doesn't work. You just can't stick women into a masculine trope and just expect it to be just as cool or even cooler, unless you're like super leftist and like, oh wow, she's so cool. I love a strong woman. Whoa, look at that cool laser sword. This reminds me of like Travis Touchdown. I'd want to be Travis Touchdown. He wants to get a girl, he's fighting for love. I don't give a shit about this lady. Of course, it's Naughty Dog, so she's attacking him. It's Naughty Dog, so the game's probably going to be, again, super narrative driven. It'll be like decently made, but again, not the type of game I'd ever be that interested in anyway. But it's just kind of like, if people are kind of wondering, I think we're posed here. We're going to talk about predictions, where video games are headed. I think we still got a ways to go before you see a shift from stuff like this, where it's like, hey, we got to have sort of like the non-binary woman of color as our lead. Once that trope or that trend kind of goes away, and for leftists, I don't know if it's going to be going away. So it might be a while before we see AAA games catering to men again. Outside, of course, Japan. Yeah, not fun. But let's see. I mean, Neil Druckmann says Intergalactic inspired by Cowboy Bebop and Akira. Whoa, he's got an Akira jacket. That's definitely cool. What could be cool? I love that Akira. That's so unique. Like the two most normie animes for men. Well, he was inspired by that, and of course that voice actress.
And then as far as with non-binary
supports transgenderism, I'll never believe it. And then we don't need to listen to this full thing, but this is going to be another issue as games go further and further down, like the need to be a narrative, the need to be like a movie. You're going to have this sort of tie-in with this sort of constant with the constant liberal activism that's already kind of taken hold of Hollywood. So the more they become entrenched with each other, I feel like the worse it's going to get. They're not going to untangle from each other for a while now, at least on the AAA scene. The smaller indie projects that can't afford this kind of stuff, it's going to be a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, because they don't need to deal with this. This isn't going to be a thing for them, which is good. But beyond that, Astrobot won Game of the Year, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of glad a platformer won Game of the Year. That's kind of cool. I didn't watch Game Awards at all. It looked, again, like crap, where it's just, hey, here's a bunch of advertisements, video games or movies. Like, they wouldn't, like, let half of the award people speak or acknowledge them for more than 5 seconds, but hey, we can have an advertisement for Helldivers, which I like. Helldivers, this is cool. But the ads become more important.
Democracy is imperiled like never before. Homes are being ravaged, families are being abducted, and you could be next. That is, unless you direct your undivided attention to the following announcements. And remember, freedom conquers all.
I think Helldivers just finally added the Illuminati. They're getting a big update, which is cool. I enjoyed the game, but again, this is like, rather than showing off people in the industry, it's again an ad. It's a chance to advertise. And this was kind of funny, despite like all the complaints about the nominations from the Game Awards. We had the player's voice. This is the category where the players get to choose what what their top games are, and 3 of the 5 games are fucking mobile free to play gotcha shit. I mean, I like Zenless Zone Zero. I played Genshin Impact. I played like all 3 of these games a little bit, but this is what they choose as their game of the year. Yeah. So democracy doesn't work. Maybe the Game Awards. Maybe I'm wrong about the Game Awards. Maybe they really do reflect the game playing audience. And the people that play games are idiots. God. Shadow of the Erd Tree's back too, despite all the complaints. Beside all the complaints about having an expansion as a game of the year contender, the players decided to choose Shadow of the Erd Tree as one of their games of the year, along with Wukong. Maybe it was a bunch of Chinese voting, and maybe it was a bunch of Chinese bots voting for this shit. Who knows? It's just this looks so bad. Good Lord. Speaking of bad, best of lists, this was the worst top 10 games of the year I've ever seen. 10 best video games by Richard Newby, which is like a black activist writing for Time Magazine. And it's so funny when you read this, they're talking about the layoffs and how bad there are and capitalism. And then they talk about AI. And then they talk about Game Informer shutting down. And PlayStation celebrated its 30th anniversary. Oh, wow, they're a game changer. Love every single game on this list is available on Sony PlayStation, which is kind of an interesting thing. It seems very skewed towards, I think this guy only has a PlayStation to play games on. And then they talk about video game adaptions and how crappy why bother talking about video game adaptions? But Borderlands was a complete failure, but Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is looking good and might do well. And then, I started to realize that, and they talk about spin-offs on television and Prime's Fallout. Most of these people that are video game journalists are really just media journalists. They cover Arcane, they cover Netflix, they cover movies, they do movie reviews, and even they're cultural critics. They're not specifically video game journalists. They don't specifically comment on video games. So video games just a side thing for them, and of course they're the ones making these lists. So it's crap. Honestly, there's no way journalism can save or improve video games because they're really in bed. They're part of the same sort of culture that's making video games worse, which is this connection to narratives and movies and moving away from actual gameplay. So let's actually get to the list. 10 is Helldivers, which, hey, like that game. Very fun game. And the Lego Horizon Adventures. Wow, that's really cool. And again, another Sony IP right there. And number 9, Star Wars Outlaws. Wow, I highly doubt this should be on any list. It had a lot of issues. Wukong. All right, that's a lot of people liked Wukong. Alan Wake 2. Interesting. The game that had, co-starred a black female. Neva. You see, again, whoa, this indie game that stars a black female. Whoa. Number 5. Yeah, really cool. A young woman, Alba, that travels with her wolf companion. Very cool. Stunning animation. It's just like Hayao Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke. Yeah, definitely. Silent Hill 2. Another big PlayStation game. Oh, a remake. Final Fantasy Rebirth. Another PlayStation. Oh, Astrobot. Huh. Well, it looks like a fun game. And of course, the number one to top it all off, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. First, hats off to what has to be the most advanced character creation system ever brought to video games. I highly doubt that, to be honest. I think Capcom has you beat by a mile. It's possible to spend hours just fine-tuning your look of your characters. Everything from bone structure to tissue placement is considered from every angle. The character... Why have I never seen a good-looking character made for this? The character creator is also fully inclusive, not only in terms of race, but also gender. In its inclusion of non-binary pronouns, flexibility with physical characteristics like hairstyles. Before the game even begins, there's effort to make Veilguard feel personal and truly put the gamer behind the character. Yeah. Unless you want to make a woman with big breasts. Then you're out of luck. Sorry. Yeah. Veilguard. I don't think... the fact that this would be on number one on anybody's list is an immediate tell that they don't actually play video games, because there's no way I believe anyone would put this number one versus some of the other titles. Actually, I don't even think this guy probably played half of these video games. That could just be me. This was an interesting tweet from the Video Game Awards. The Game Awards featured a wildly insincere moment. They called the Game Changer Awards. There's so much wrong with a single moment, I feel I need to highlight each and every part of it separately. I tried to make it a single tweet. It can't be done. So, the Game Awards has starkly refused to acknowledge anything bad that's ever happened in the gaming industry. So, they admitted to the layoffs, but then waver and quiver at the idea that he must always remain neutral. So, I mean, he doesn't want to, say anything bad about his the people giving him money. But, you have to acknowledge, layoffs are kind of bad for the industry. They paraded Amir Savat up to the stage and explained that he, believe it or not, made an Excel spreadsheet that people put their information in if they were laid off. There has been a lot of layoffs for several years, but now we have a spreadsheet. And I don't mean to downplay it so hard if you're one of the people who lost their job. It's something to do, but it's, you have to put yourself into it. So, and when the entire plan is ripped away from you and suddenly a future thought, it's absolutely I feel like, you need anything. So, it's an okay research. They brought this man on stage. He said he made a spreadsheet when no one else could do anything. They paraded him in front of the people who literally fired everyone. It's a room of people who fired the people you're saying you're helping. They awarded you for it. A large chunk of the audience is people who choose to lay off people a month after Christmas. They're planning to lay off people right now. They're going to do it next month. Then you get an award for providing volunteered services to the Mackenzian sacrifice. They clap for you. The ultimate irony is that Amir was the guy that just felt really bad and dolled us for no reason with no expectations and never asked anything through. Well, that's true. It's not exactly honest. There is a difference. Okay. First, Amir is positioning himself as some sort of expert, some sort of number one Google search results for game job resources that provide exclusive perks and funnels viewers to other people's blogs, most of whom charge for paid speaker gigs, coaching, and career optimization. So, he might be, this might be some money to be made for him. The game were also positioned Amir as some guy who just felt really bad for everyone, some fan of games who saw a tragedy and felt the need to do something and address it. Well, yeah, he's being paraded in front of people who fired everyone. At least he's doing something, except Amir is surprised part of the same crowd. Amir finds game companies for Tencent to acquire after coming from Amazon Game, which he collectively have laid off at least 1,000 people. He's not some random guy. He's part of a 490 billion multinational super corporation. Oh, so he's in charge of that. Let's see. Building long-term game partnership and sourcing game investment opportunities in North America. Interesting. And then, Tencent owns Riot. They own a ton of stuff. They represent 50% of the mobile market. So you have an exec for gaming's top company applauded by gaming's high executive creating a self-input spreadsheet and leveraging other people's volunteer labor, receiving an award for helping people laid off by people applauding the guy who works for one of the worst offenders. How fun. That's definitely corporations for you, though. It's like, wow, we feel real bad for him, but hey, let's give this guy an award. He made a spreadsheet. It's like the pizza party thing. We threw him a pizza party, so it kind of makes up for it, right? Sorry about firing you. Though, to be honest, a lot of those guys are probably worthless. This was fun. This was fun. So this was Danny O'Dwyer here. Some person was talking about how it's saddened to see how GameIndustry.biz has been fully gutted from this deal. Truly one of my go-to resources, and seemingly every name I know there has been taken out in less than a year. Game journalism is like fewer than 40 people now. Magazines basically gone, websites are closed behind them. None of this is a surprise to me, but it's incredibly sad. We had something awesome for a while there. Younger generations have no idea what they missed out on. Then, of course, this guy posting, who is over? Yes. I think this was from GameIndustry.biz. That gamers don't have to be your audience. Gamers are over. Well, I guess in the end, it's the journalists that are over. And yeah, younger generations have no idea what they missed out on. Yeah, they didn't miss your absolute betrayal of the male gaming audience as you applauded video games taking a slide into liberal activism. They won't miss that, which is good. Because yep, I'm glad games journalism is going away, because it doesn't serve anybody. It only serves people that don't need them. It serves corporations, liberal activists, the Democrat Party. It doesn't actually. It's no longer a hobbyist position. It's like guys like that made this Times list. These are just, cultural cultural journalists. Like, hey, look at this newest Netflix series. Whoa, isn't that super cool? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't specifically go into games. It's not encouraging better games or finding better games. All it's doing is this. All it's doing is pushing out narratives that are approved by big corporations and the ruling cultural class. It's not brave. It's not. There really is nothing to it anymore. The people that actually care about video games have moved on to places like YouTube. People that have a real passion for games, that are able to express it in a convincing way. They went to YouTube. They cover specific niches in that space, or some other social media, whatever. YouTube's my kind of go-to resources for that kind of stuff. The people that are really into it, that really go deep into it, and you can gotta get something of value out of it. They're somewhere else. The video game magazines and even the websites are kind of things of the past now. And it's in some ways it's bad. Maybe there is something that you miss out of it, but I don't mind these people not having any sort of microphone. I'm glad they're gone. Ooh, this was interesting. Assassin's Creed, if there's not a if you didn't have enough reason, the sort of Yasuke stuff was enough reason to turn you off. Ubisoft is doing some interesting stuff that could turn you off even more. So Assassin's Creed Shadows will have a canon mode that will make all the correct, I love the word correct, RPG decisions for you. So if you're someone, that, they feel bad about, I want to make the canon decisions, the decisions that will be accepted by, they haven't made a sequel to this. So what are they worried about? Make the right decisions. So the decisions the creator wanted you to make, this doesn't even make sense. The whole reason about giving you decisions was to give you a choice. Like there was some sort of stakes, but now you could just turn on a mode where you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about playing the game again, since you can just make all the right decisions the first time and sort of play through the game. And then of course, there's not everyone who embraces canon mode will do so because they're terrified of making the wrong choices. Some people just don't care about silly sideline nonsense like romance. Whatever drives you, I think it's a smart idea. A single linear narrative, that's what I love. For people who want to ensure they follow the correct story path and non-stop in-your-face action. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be non-stop in-your-face action with Assassin's Creed. For those who want to get on with stabbing and slashing. That's cool. Yeah, let's just hold your hand some more. That's what gamers want. Well, maybe that's what Assassin's Creed fans want. So maybe I could be out of line there. This was super funny. Extremely ironic. Suspect in United Healthcare CEO slang played video game killer, friends recalled. Wow. A man who attended college with Luigi Mangione was a member of the same Discord group, said he was shocked when news broke on social media and that Mangione had been taken into police custody. So he was arrested and charged with murder in the shooting death. Obviously, you know it. Once belonged to a group of Ivy League gamers who played Assassins. A member of the group told NBC. And what Assassins were they playing? In the game called Among Us. Some players are secretly assigned to be killers in space who perform other tasks while trying to avoid suspicions from other players. Whoa. That dark Assassins game called Among Us. Called Among Us. Amazing. They're trying to make... is NBC2 News trying to make Among Us to be this sort of like dark game that's encouraging people to assassinate each other? And of course, Culture Crave mentioned this. And it's so funny. You see these like lefty organizations. The second you imply video games cause violence, they'll be so quick to defend that that there's several studies that are done looking into the link between video games and violence. They're so quick to defend that, but the second you imply sexism, they're all on board. It's so weird. This was another. This is anime related, but this kind of shows you how voice acting is just a cesspool. So the Japanese people got upset because someone made a trace of a screenshot or, yes, I am innocent. I didn't kill anyone in that session. Unlike other people that were in that, I was never the assassin, so I'm the last person that would ever assassinate somebody. But this is so anyway, black people like to make these stupid edits where they turn Japanese anime characters black. They're super ugly, and most people don't like them. But black people being annoying, wow, what a surprise. But the crazy thing is that this guy made this his profile picture. He is the voice actor for Okarun, which is the person in this picture, the character in this picture. The fact that you make something that sort of disrespects the original anime while you're working for the anime itself is amazing. And of course, people dug up his stuff. Every time there's a black actor cast in a role in fantasy where the source material version is lighter skin, someone always has something to say about it. So tiring. It doesn't affect the character whatsoever. It's okay. But, that's weird. But he says right down here, the reason white people in most cases shouldn't be playing people of color isn't a matter of color. It's culture. We speak for black people. We know what a barbershop sounds like on Sundays, what a hot comb smells like when it's going through our hair. It's not color, it's culture. Nobody can understand culture. So I guess it's okay for him to play Japanese characters, but it's not okay for white people to play people of color. But this guy ended up deleting his account. What's the funny thing? After, I cannot believe the guy that's literally the voice actor would make this weird trace. The Japanese people were not happy about it, by the way. I didn't have a ton of examples of them doing it. They don't really like it when you just race swap characters. And meanwhile, of course, black people get super upset the second you use like a shade lighter for black people. Barbershops, none of the black barbershops have anyone in them. I saw it in Baltimore. Yeah, Rev. I just picked a random person now that I don't actually follow anybody. But amazing. Ended up deleting his account, which I hopefully he'll get fired. There were people calling for him to get fired. I agree. You don't want this stuff in your anime. You don't want these people affecting your anime in any way. The idea that the actual actor would include a race swapped trace of that character is wild, absolutely wild, totally disrespectful of the source material. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about Marvel Rivals. So Marvel Rivals doing incredibly well. 10 million players over the opening weekend. Concord flopped, and we were told hero shooters were totally not a thing anymore. That doesn't seem true. And of course, we have people. The downside of this is we have people like praising China to no end. Because they make good looking characters. The amazing thing is China doesn't make anything original, but they're really good at hey, let's make this cool. One, they don't have the hangups of Western society that absolutely seems to hate femininity or any sort of male sexual attraction. And they think they value competence over, things like DEI and diversity. So the Chinese people that could get a job are the best Chinese people out there. And they actually, make their characters attractive, which right now Western creatives are totally unable to do. But this is the standard now. Just this is what passes for great, or even good, is not making characters ugly and offensive. That's what's good now, and it's the sad. But Overwatch hit its lower player count on Steam following the recent Marvel Rivals. We'll see if that lasts. But obviously, it's a direct competitor to it. Maybe this will encourage Overwatch to get its shit together. We'll see. But it's doing well. Very well. Last thing I'll cover is this. I thought this was an interesting tweet. So this is a response to Indiana Jones, this tweet by IGN, Indiana Jones and the Gray Circle, the iconic opening. Let's see if I can look at this here. So they recreated this. Have to run down a corridor.
Give me the whip!
And you get another cutscene. Uh-oh. Adios, senor. Then you have to jump. Oh. And you get another cutscene. Managed to get himself out. Instead of the hat, you grab the whip. Oh, man.
Adios, Sabito.
So this was his response to it. People get so heated when I say video games have been the worst artistic medium for a decade, when stuff like this perfectly illustrates what I mean. Games are ostensibly playable cartoons, which already makes the sky's the limit for creativity. And with current technology, you should be able to make it even better than the original. But they make it look so bland, lifeless, way too clean, and yet somehow uglier than the live action. The most bottom-of-the-barrel, corporo soulless, MCU tier, PG-13 Hollywood bullshit is glad to have more blood than this modern AAA game. And look, I gotta agree with this. The blood, the fact that this looks, one, the original does look way better. But, this is what these games do now. We're just recreating this scene 1-to-1 in game. There's almost no gameplay involved in this besides running down a corridor. And then, this is the opening. So what is like the movement tutorial? Is you going down a corridor, and they end up being 1-to-1. And people did get mad at him. It's amazing how many people got mad. Because, I mean, it's like the usual argument where, like, you say, like, the average woman is 5'4", and then immediately people will chime in like, I'm not 5'4". People just can't get what averages are. They can't get the idea that he's talking about the medium in general, and that video games are so desperately trying to be movies right now that they're totally foregoing gameplay and creativity and like thinking outside of the box. Making it's really this genre its own thing. Right now it's just we need to appeal to something else. And really a lot of times it's just kind of going back to popular IPs and copying them, essentially. Like, hey, let's just make the 1-to-1 recreation of Indiana Jones. And then, of course, I love when people reply to Armored Core was released last year, and he responds with this. This is the proof that it's not. This is the proof that video games aren't bad. This person's literally standing still. Oh, no, he's moving slightly. I won't miss. Boom. Get shot. A very cool moment. Don't get me wrong. I really like this moment. It's very cool. But again, no gameplay involved in this. And then, he stops, and then you just shoot him. You shoot him and do damage. There's almost nothing interesting involved in this. It's totally cinematic. It's the worst boss fight to play through multiple times in Armored Core 6. This is the proof that it's not. And again, he's just proving the point of this guy right here is that, or like they'll show off. I don't have any of the other stuff, but they'll show off like, oh, look how beautiful Elden Ring. This is just graphics. There's no gameplay. And of course, people try to prove, yeah, movies. Guess what? Movies have been the worst artistic medium for a decade. Yeah, a lot of movies do suck. When you have Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans, and for the millionth time, here's some badass Santa or something. Any movie with The Rock is probably going to be fairly bad. Hey, we got the same people again for another derivative movie. It's like we got the same people back for another derivative game. Very cool. Hey, look at these cutscenes. How cool is that? Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Oh, this was actually funny. Where the guy that made a Kingdom Come Deliverance, I guess it was on sale, and he was comparing it to the numbers to Dragon Age Veilguard, a small indie company, 7-year-old game versus recent release, and his numbers are beating them, both in peak all-time players, people playing right now, and in the 24-hour peak. People were very mad about this because, Veilguard is the latest super inclusive woke baby of the activist, the activist leftists. Trying to dunk on your colleagues in an industry that's seeing mass layoffs and people out of work is fucking juvenile and gross. You know how much work put into a project? Why be an asshole and diminish them like this? Yeah, sure. You're laughing. There are families involved and you're laughing. Good for him. Good for Daniel. He's proud of the fact that his game is beating the latest AAA slop. And I like that. I like that. Oh, and I'll cover this. I'll cover this too. This was released on the Game Awards. It's a short video. Look at these fur effects. Pretty cool. We got cats. kind of surreal. You can change their eyeballs. Build a house. Look at all these options. Look at all these options. Catly. It's coming to Steam, Apple Watch, the App Store, and Nintendo Switch. This was revealed on the Game Awards. People are upset about this though. You originally watch it, you think who would be upset about some cute cat video, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are calling this a kind of a scam. And you know what? They might be right. So let's take a look. So this was on the Game Awards. You had Ninja doing what essentially is an ad for them here. Are you watching the Game Awards? If you're a cat lover, you have to check out this game now. Go out and add it to your Steam wish list. And then you have Felicia Day here.
As a cat lover myself, I'd like to take a closer look at that gorgeous game, Catly, which just appeared on the Game Awards as a showcase game. Look at those cats. Their fur. I mean, the detail is stunning. Rex, Abyssinian, Persian, Sphinx. The team clearly put their hearts and their souls into those cats. I mean, those are truly
Hearts
the
and
most gorgeous
souls.
AAA cats in video games.
And let's look at some
AAA
hints
cat
in
in
video games.
Aside
Wow,
from
what a
beautiful
line.
Cats. Building and decorating, indoor and outdoor, dressing up your avatar and your cat, and cat modifications. Do you want an avatar speed bump, huh? Maybe with a hat? Who knows what you'll be able to do. You can already wishlist Catly on Steam right now, but it will also be out on Switch. Meow. More info coming summer 2025. Catly, thank you for
Summer
the preview.
2025.
Wow, she doesn't look as
There we go. So you have two people advertising. I know, is this person a big name? Oh, it's got 2.4 million followers. Never heard of him before, but you have Ninja. You have a Game Awards spot. So there's a lot of money being thrown in to advertise this and get it wish listed. Not a single drop of actual gameplay to be shown, and a lot to be announced. This reeks of personal data harvesting AI flop. To be honest, it reminds me of mobile game adverts. There's no way the graphics will be that good. Oh wait, I'm at the Game Awards page. Yeah, it makes sense. And you haven't had this featured game made by a company that works with cryptos and NFTs. The game also features AI-generated images. You had this. Apparently, you got people like Thomas Vu, producer of League of Legends, saying that this is a cat MMO, is a triumph of innovation and heart delivering an enchanting world that stands a testament to the brilliance of its creators. Wow. A game as beautiful as Catly deserves beautiful melodies. I'm beyond excited to craft heartwarming music for Catly and all you cat lovers out there. 4-time Japanese Academy Award winner, lead composer of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Wow. I don't think I would be this excited for a game about cats, but here I am. Ben Brody, game director of Hearthstone, is singing its praises. Wow, this looks crazy. Is it a scam though? Is it a scam? When we look at this, I mean, really, these are all videos. This is just a video showcase. The fur effects do look very impressive, but when you look at this stuff, I mean, this definitely looks like AI. I gotta be honest. Definitely looks. It's got that AI feel to it. And apparently you can add stuff like this. This looks like AI. Absolutely. You can discover all these styles. Wow, look at this. And this. 100% AI. There's no way this stuff isn't. Whoa, you can try. They do look like NFTs, to be honest. Like Bored Ape NFTs. Whoa, I can get this cat. Born of Moonlight, bound by mystery. Everything about this does kind of reek of NFT type of things. And we'll see just how the gameplay ends up. But it's amazing. It's amazing what you can buy clearly all these people were paid. Ninja was definitely paid. Catly partner. He put the hashtag in there. People were paid to make this advertisement. The Game Awards were paid to feature this advertisement. So we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. But it's funny, this reaction. People let's make it the lowest rated game ever on Steam. The second like the second AI shown, like people get super upset about it. But there is definitely something off about this game that I don't think. We'll see if it's a scam or not. I don't know, but the use of AI does make it seem a little bit cheap. But the fur effects are cool. That's it. We're moving on. Oh, we got post. I'll be here for post 0. Post 0. Let's see. I need to redirect. I think that's gonna be on Nuke's channel. Let's see. Let me get Nuke here. Let me find Nuke's channel. Ooh, yeah. I love the thumbnail. Touching the orbs as we give our 2025 predictions. How will it end up? That'll be a fun one. A very fun one. We'll see what I and the others think of the future. So we'll head over there after it. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. And yeah, be sure to check out Post Zero as we look into the orb to see what's coming 2025. Not actual investment advice.